In the past few weeks, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed so much about our lives, and I'll talk a few minutes about the impact that has on our communication, our internal state, and the ramifications thereof. It seems to me that the biggest impact that's happening at the moment is that each of us are carrying an increased amount of stress and worry. We're stressed and worried about the health situation, about catching the disease or our loved ones catching it. There's a lot of worry about our security of our jobs and our businesses. And the impact of that stress and worry on our brains is that stress and worry take up a huge amount of capacity. And what happens then is that we have less capacity for the other things that we would normally do. Things like being compassionate, being caring, being empathetic, being creative, being imaginative. And therefore we get stuck in this loop because we don't have the ability to get ourselves out of it. We get stuck in more and more of this stuff, the worry and the stress. And of course, when we're worried and stressed, it impacts on the way that we communicate with those people closest to us, who then react in their way because they're also stressed and they don't have the capacity to manage our stress. So instead of looking out for each other, we're damaging each other. And of course, then relationships gets difficult, and then it becomes a downward spiral. So here's some suggestions to help break that spiral. The first thing is to cut down the amount of media that you consume. Treat it like coffee. No more than 1 or 2 a day, and nothing later than a certain time at night, because it impacts the way that you sleep. We now know pretty much everything we need to know about it. We know the rules for self-isolating. We know all of that stuff. If anything really important happens, you'll hear about it. Don't need to be glued to the media and news updates all the time. It has a damaging effect on us. The second suggestion is to create a gratitude journal. Every day, I do this last thing at night, take time to be grateful for the things in your life. One of the impacts of this COVID-19 is to recognise that we as individuals, and certainly speaking for myself, I'm very lucky. There are loads and lots of people who are worse off than I am. So take time to be grateful. I would even recommend writing a gratitude journal, and make sure you add one new thing that you're grateful for every day. Do it for a year. You'll have hundreds of things to be grateful for. Your mindset and your state will be improved for it. And thirdly, try to avoid catastrophizing. With the worry and the stress, it's very easy to go into that mindset. But there's nothing that we know about the future. All those things that we thought we knew, that security we thought we had, it's all been thrown up in the air. Recognise a lot of things are going to be different from the way they were. A lot of things will be the same too. But we don't know exactly how it's going to land. We don't know when this thing's going to end. We don't know the impact of it long term. We don't know if there's going to be more viruses coming in the future, or whether this is a 1 in 100 years thing. We just don't know. And we have to learn to live with that and be okay with the uncertainty. Because beforehand, we didn't have certainty. We had an illusion of certainty. And that illusion of certainty may have supported us before, maybe, but it certainly doesn't support us now. Now we can recognise the truth of its illusion. Next week, I'll be sharing some ideas about going forward and coming up with opportunities, but that only works when you've got the capacity to do so. And if you're full of worry and stress, and I think most people that I'm in contact with seem to be at the moment, let's work on that. Spend a week, cut down your media, stop catastrophizing, do the gratitude journal, and see how things change. And of course, same as everyone's been saying, be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your loved ones, and be kind to people, particularly people on their own. Reach out to them using all the media that we've got, and particularly extroverts. They're really suffering at this time. So look out for them, look out for yourself, and I'll be back next week with another tip.